Hey guys, today is very refreshing because we get to see a Japanese EV for a change. Yes, this is the all new Honda EN1 and this is Honda's first battery electric vehicle in Malaysia. This is the charging port for the Honda EN1. So it is good for AC or DC charging. And the battery itself is 68.8 kilowatts. Plus the motor is 150 kilowatt in power. That translates to 205 horsepower. That's a very common motor size that people use for BEVs of this size. So whatever you do with this car, you must keep this front free from collision because if you hit this place, you can't charge your car anymore. So anyway, the front looks pretty good. There is no grille as you can see. Electric cars don't really need that much cooling, and this is the only hole here to allow air in to help cool the battery. And for your information, the battery is located under the floorboard and it is water cooled. So the front looks pretty nice, and this is what's different. And what is different is, of course, there's a new logo, and this logo is also carried along to the side here. These are 18-inch tires, and suspension is, of course, McPherson struts. I see ventilated discs, and there are also regenerative braking. There are 3 levels which you can control from inside the car how much you want regeneration. So at the back, you also get a solid disc, and what I can see from peeping down there is a torsion beam. From what I can see, the overall silhouette does look like the Honda HR-V. Well, they claim there is a dedicated platform for BEV, but I think maybe they wanted to put in some elements of the HR-V, or it could be a modified platform. So it's only my opinion, yeah? But it looks a little bit different from the back, because you get this light bar here, and where you see the familiar Honda logo is no more. They have this word across. Overall, I think it looks pretty nice, but it still does remind me of the HR-V. Boot is mechanical. Yep, and as usual, there is no spare tire, but I think it is possible to put one here, although there is no center bolt for the tire, but you can put one in here. And of course you have the standard 60-40 split and a tonneau cover that goes up and down with this boot lid, and this part is pretty much standard looking. Okay, so inside I really cannot recall what the HR-V looks like, but it looks pretty nice. You have a large screen in keeping with all the electric cars. This 15.1 inch, I don't have details of what's inside, but you should have all the stuff there. You still have an instrument panel here, and this is 10.25, so I suppose all your driving information is there because I really can't see. The start-stop button is here. Then you have the steering with the steering controls. So I believe he has all the ADAS stuff that is there. I see here a wireless charger, and the gear stick is different, yeah? There's no gear stick. There's the P, R, N, and D is all buttons. So you press the button to do whatever you want to do. There's a drive mode button here. The car is not on, so I don't know how many drive modes they have. Possibly 2 or 3. And I see electronic parking brake and also a brake hold, which is the same as auto hold. Now the seats are electrically controlled, mechanical for passenger, and there's the center console. So this part of the car looks pretty much standard, and of course it is a semi bucket with a pretty good support. Yeah, so steering adjustment, let's see. Yep, up and down, fore and aft. So it's there. And not sure if there are parking cameras, but there are parking sensors here. And inside it is quite okay lah. The dashboard is hard touch, and this is a bit of soft touch with some blue stitching, and I understand from the presentation there is blue ambient light. So the rear is quite well done. I think the floor may have been raised a little bit because of the battery, but it doesn't intrude too much and you still have good leg room. And this is the ambient light, and you can also see in the front, yeah, ambient light is there, and headroom pretty good. One thing about Honda, they always do a very good job in terms of interior space management. You have your aircon louvers here, and of course your USB, and also the center armrest. Other than that, this is very, very HRV. As said before, this is the B segment front-wheel drive BEV, and the range is 500 kilometers based on NEDC standards from the 150 kilowatt motor. Now, in terms of size, it is B segment, a length of 4380 mm, which is a few mm plus or minus from the HRV. It is exactly the same width, 1790 mm in terms of width, and height is 1592 plus or minus 2 or 3 mm from the HRV. The price is 149,900, and of course this will find a place in the hearts of Honda lovers, you know, those people who really like Honda and want to buy a BEV from Honda. In terms of overall market pricing, it does seem to be a little bit above the average price for B segment, because there are even some C segment BEVs that are priced lower because of the very, very competitive situation. But what I understand is that there are only limited units available, and there are only 8 dealers that are authorized to sell. Warranty is 8 years or 160,000 kilometers, whichever comes first. So guys, what do you think of this Honda EN1? Let us have your comments below, and if you want one, do get in touch. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.